Hello, and welcome to the Transfer Retail License Application Guide. This video will walk through the entire Transfer of License application form, page by page, and highlight what needs to be included in the application packet before being submitted. To access the Transfer Retail License application from the ABCC homepage, scroll to the What Would You Like to Do section and click Alcoholic Beverages Retail Licenses. You will then be directed to the Retail Licenses page. Under Top Tasks, click Apply for an Alcoholic Beverages Retail License, New or Transfer. The Apply for an Alcoholic Beverages Retail License New or Transfer page includes blank digital copies of the new retail license application, the Transfer Retail License application, the CORI authorization form, the Addendum A, and additional information pages. For the purposes of this tutorial, you will first need to download a copy of the Transfer Retail License application. Before starting the application, please review this page for important information about the application process. The application is first submitted to the local licensing authorities, or LLA for short. This is the municipal office responsible for the initial approval and issuance of retail licenses and typically consists of the city or town's licensing commission or select board. LLAs may have additional requirements for transfer license applications, so it's important to contact the local licensing authority that your application will be submitted to before submitting it for any information about their local application processes. The first page of the Transfer Retail License application lists all the required documents for the license application packet. The monetary transmittal form, the transfer retail application, the manager application, the vote of the entity, and the management agreement application are included in this PDF file. The second page of the application is the ABCC's monetary transmittal form. The $200 filing fee can be paid through the ABCC's ePay system. The link is included in the form and is also in the description below. After you submit the payment, please include a copy of the receipt in the application packet. Complete all fields. Also, check off Transfer License Transaction Type at the bottom of the form. If you are seeking approval for a pledge of collateral, please check off Pledge of Collateral in this section. If you are seeking approval for a management agreement, please also check off Management/Operating Agreement. The first page of the Transfer of License application asks for information regarding the transaction, the license, the entity, and the premises. Question 1 asks what kind of transaction is being proposed in the application. Please check off all of the transaction types that you are applying for. Please provide a narrative overview of the transaction or transactions being applied for. On-premises applicants should also provide a description of the intended theme or concept of the business operations. Attach additional pages if necessary. Question 2 asks for the license classification information. Select the license type, license category, and license class of the license you are applying for. Please select if this application is for an on- or off-premises license. Question 3 asks for the applicant's business entity information. This section is for the entity that will be issued the license and have operational control of the premises. This information should reflect the entity information within the Massachusetts Secretary of the Commonwealth's records. Please make sure this section is filled out completely. Question 4 asks for a detailed description of the entire proposed premises for the sale, storage, and consumption of alcohol. This includes the square footage, the number of rooms, floors, exits, and etc. in the premises. This also includes any outdoor dining areas and bars within the licensed area. On page 2, question 5 asks for the current officer's stock or ownership interest of the license. Please provide the transfer entity name and select the means by which the license is being transferred from the drop-down menu. List the entities and individuals of the current ownership. Attach additional pages if necessary utilizing the format below. Question 6 asks for the proposed officer's stock or ownership interest for the license. List all individuals or entities that will have a direct or indirect beneficial or financial interest in this license. For example, stockholders, officers, directors, LLC managers, LLC members, LLP partners, trustees, and etc. Please make sure that the name, address, social security number, date of birth, title/position, and percentage of ownership is listed for each individual. Also make sure to indicate yes or no on the director/LLC manager, U.S. citizen, and Massachusetts resident fields. Attach additional pages if provided if necessary, utilizing Addendum A. Please make sure that the individuals and titles listed in the section are identical to those filed with the Massachusetts Secretary of the Commonwealth. Please note that at least 50% of the directors or LLC managers on an on-premise license must be U.S. citizens, and that all directors or LLC managers must be U.S. citizens, and a majority must be Massachusetts residents on an off-premises license. The individuals identified in this section, as well as the proposed manager of record, must complete a CORI release form. If you are a multi-tiered organization, please attach a flowchart identifying each corporate interest and the individual owners of each entity, as well as articles of organization for each corporate entity. Every individual must be identified in Addendum A. Please make sure that this is fully completed. Please attach the business structure documents for this entity. If the entity is a sole proprietorship, please provide a business certificate. If the entity is a partnership, please provide a partnership agreement. If the entity is a corporation or LLC, please provide the articles of organization from the Secretary of the Commonwealth. On page 3, more space is allowed to answer question 6 completely. Attach additional pages provided if necessary utilizing Addendum A. Please indicate yes or no to whether additional pages are necessary for answering question 6 completely, and if any of the individuals listed in question 6 have a criminal history. Question 6a asks if any of the individuals or entities listed in question 6 have any direct or indirect beneficial or financial interest in any other alcoholic beverage license. If there are, check off yes and list the name, license type, license name, and the municipality of the licenses that the individuals and/or entities in question 6 have an interest in. You may attach additional pages to answer this section fully if necessary. If none of the individuals or entities in question 6 have interest in any other license, you may check off no and leave the section blank. Question 6b asks if any individual or entity identified in question 6 has ever previously held a direct or indirect beneficial or financial interest in a license to sell alcoholic beverages. If there are, check off yes and list the name, license type, license name, and municipality of the licenses that the individuals and/or entities in section 6 have held interest in. You may attach additional pages to answer this section fully if necessary. If none, you may check off no and leave the section blank. Please fill out Addendum A if you need to list more principles than question 6 on page 2 allows. You may attach as many Addendum A documents as you need to the application packet. On page 4, question 6c asks if any of the disclosed licenses in questions 6a or 6b have ever been suspended, revoked, or canceled. If there are any, check off yes and list the date of action, name of licensee, city, and reason for suspension, revocation, or cancellation for each license in the table provided. Attach additional pages if necessary, utilizing the same table format. If there are no such licenses, please check off no and leave this table blank. Question 7 asks for the corporate structure of the entity applying for the transfer. Please select the entity's legal structure and state of incorporation in the corresponding drop-down menus. Please provide the date of incorporation and select yes or no to whether the corporation is publicly traded. Question 6 asks for information about the occupancy of the premises. Please indicate by what means the applicant will occupy the premises from the choices in the drop-down menu provided. Please provide the landlord's name, phone number, email, and address in the applicable fields. Please also provide the lease beginning date, the lease ending date, the rent per month, and the rent per year in the applicable fields. Please check off yes or no to whether the landlord will receive revenue based on the percentage of alcohol sales. Please provide proof of legal occupancy, which includes a lease or a deed, and the floor plan for the licensed premises in the application packet. Question 9 asks for the application contact information. The applicant contact is the person who the licensing authority should contact regarding this application. Please provide the name, phone number, title, and email address of the applicant contact. On page 4, question 8 asks for the financial disclosure. Please list all costs associated with the entity and the license. This includes the purchase price for the real estate, the purchase price for the business assets, and other costs associated with the transaction, such as property price, business assets, and renovation costs. You must also list the source of cash contribution, including the name of the contributor and the amount contributed. Please provide documentation of available funds in the application packet. This may include bank statements, bank letters, etc. You must also list the source of financing, including the lender, the amount, and the type of financing. Please check off if the lender is an alcoholic beverage licensee pursuant to Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 138. Finally, provide a detailed description of the forms or sources of financing for the costs listed above. Please also provide a copy of the purchase and sale agreement for this transfer in the application packet. Question 9 asks for the pledge information. If you are seeking approval for a pledge, please indicate yes on the form and indicate what you are seeking to pledge and to whom the pledge is being made. If you are applying for a pledge with the ABCC, please check off Pledge of Collateral in addition to the Transfer of License in the Transaction Type section of the Monetary Transmittal form. On page 4, question 10 consists of the manager application. Question 10 asks for basic information about the proposed manager. This includes how many hours per week the manager intends to be on the licensed premises. Please fill out this section completely. Question 10b asks for the proposed manager's citizenship/qualified alien status and criminal record history. Please attach a copy of one of the acceptable documents for proof of citizenship/qualified alien for the proposed manager of record. This includes a U.S. passport, voter certificate, birth certificate, naturalization papers, permanent resident card, or employment authorization document. If the manager has a criminal history, fill out the table included and attach any additional pages utilizing the same table format if necessary. Question 10 asks for the employment history of the proposed manager. Please fill out the table and any additional pages utilizing the same table format if necessary. Question 10D asks if the proposed manager has held a beneficial or financial interest in an alcoholic beverages retail license that was subject to disciplinary action. If yes, please fill out the table with the information regarding the license and the disciplinary action. Please attach additional pages utilizing the table format if necessary. The manager must provide a signature at the bottom of the page. Question 11 on pages 6 and 7 consists of the management agreement. This is an agreement from a licensee that authorizes a third party to control the daily operations of the licensed premises while retaining ultimate control over the license through a written contract. This does not pertain to a liquor license manager that is employed directly by the entity. These are rare. However, if you have a management agreement, please complete question 11. This page allows the applicant to add additional information to the application. If the information in this section pertains to a specific question on the application, please note the question number in this field. Please review and complete the applicant statement. This must be completed by an authorized signatory, which includes the sole proprietor, partner, corporate principal, or LLC/LLP manager of the entity or corporation. The authorized signatory must provide their signature and title along with the date that this was filled out. Please complete the entity vote form that authorizes this application to be submitted on the entity's behalf and to appoint the proposed license manager. A corporate officer or LLC manager must provide their signature at the bottom of the form. Corporations must also provide a signature and name of the corporation clerk at the bottom of the form. Once the application forms are completed, please make sure the other required documents in this list are included in the application packet. This includes the $200 e-pay receipt, the Certificate of Good Standing from the Department of Revenue, the Certificate of Compliance from the Massachusetts Department of Unemployment Assistance, the business structure documents, the CORI authorization forms, the purchase and sale agreement for the transaction, the proof of citizenship/qualified alien status document, supporting financial records, the legal right to occupy, the floor plan, and any additional pages or information for the application questions. Please note that the Certificate of Good Standing and the Certificate of Compliance must be obtained by the seller, not the buyer. Always make sure that all the required documents are included in your application packet before being submitted to the local licensing authorities. A blank copy of the CORI request form can be found on the Apply for an Alcoholic Beverage Retail License New or Transfer page. Please fill out a CORI request form for each individual with financial or beneficial interest in the entity that is applying and one for the proposed manager of record. This form must be notarized with a stamp or raised seal. Once you have finished your application packet and compiled all the required application materials, please submit the packet to the local licensing authorities that you are applying with. Please consult with the local licensing authorities for how they would like the application to be submitted. Please note that you may be requested to submit additional supporting documentation if necessary during the review process. Thank you for watching.